So I got me an interview tomorrow with a drug and alcohol recreation position, right? Whatever that is. Probably just sitting around. I mean, I've done it a couple of times as far as my interview application and dealing with Parks and Recreation over here about challenging the throne on stuff, about getting drunk, smoking pot, being schizo, or integrating certain states to the recreations that go into any form set structure triage. There's administrative, and then there's out in the woods, pull them into a safe thing. Doesn't matter if they're, you know, in certain state A or certain state B, being the and or D flip flop to the psychological department, showing some criteria of educational industrials. Based as your iron fist technique, you know, your models of doing that. So, I'm not saying some kids don't pop up Broly and get in the mix. You know, that's kind of in the separator where you want to keep an eye on them and have it from the recreation department. They can sit down, play Uno or Monopoly on a mitigated, or what do they call it in a meeting there? They mediate the experience day over day, or day inside two of whatever system they would be due to program, if it's a daily system on the acute model where you make them do the week system, the 2 week system, or whether that's an outpatient variant on setting up some kind of structure with them. Iron Fist bases inside of here, pulling that stuff to make sure you get in the office with the dimensions here, the universes, the human resources, the intake, the janitor's closet, the overall pie chart, let you fill. To get certain areas, you need a base in training. Usually recreations gives you time to watch case studies and figure out where you're going to go if there's a psychological department inside of that region, where you could say whether it's a school, college, any advanced positions on that, or you're going to be working locally with what they have around them for, risk variable on how, you know, this cowboy coming in there to the office. Gravity chamber. At that moment, enraged Bonzeros. So again, you know, when I went to UHS, there was a, you know, there's something, what it is, you had to spend 7 days for what it is. Cowboy snaps about the job, pot, not necessarily drinking. Had some general stuff, but hillbillies get dirty. You know, their pieces of equipment usually rode hard and put up wet. Can't really do much with the BAH 13 to 15 to 18 to $20. What's their intake and outtake? The help person or not help person to say it's regionally a risk. It's Solomon's out there picking up blind people, drunk people, and somebody can't handle 7-year rabbit shoes, whatever their factory is. That, again, that technique is a blacksmith's axe making technique, and when you break it down in the frame rate, you can break anything down in the frame rate. Ego, as far as Vegeta, Goku, the girls and the boys, full stuff, and, you know, whatever you set the game up to be. Monopoly today is obviously real estate for what it is, so you would want to have them figure out a grid or print them out some grids, some area where they're supposed to be, because you get a list, and you make the list on the first or second day, and that's a rotation of bringing them in at any given time. You gotta field it. You know, it either will or it won't when Broly pops up, right? You know, hey, whoa, you know, I'm not trying to quietly quit by doing my job exactly if I'm trying to do the 888 rate on it in terms of being on call 24/7, which you couldn't know. I mean, once you set the basic structure on that, well, that's a good place as any to start, you know, 13 realms, 18 realms, whatever. On a bullet point, you know, you need to remember them like that, and, you know, they can be useful and interesting for a lot of standards if you want to get a projector out and go, hey guys, you know, a recreational guy here, help you set up an AR backyard or an exercising course, or, you know, old people are going to be in the old people category, get them on a VPN, and somebody's got to get that going. Don't let the scammer get a hold of them. That's ours, you know, we want to make sure that's on If pill medication by virtue of dual diagnosis for this cowboy needs to take him down a peg, well, thank you for smoking. I mean, I'm not telling you smoking's the right answer there, but
now I understand that the gods of destruction of the universes that were erased by Zenshan are totally different from the gods of destruction of these
this is just going to commonly hit because it's out there like that. What you got, 12,000K plus anything else that's this, comparatively to like the Foundation, SCP, Dungeons and Dragon boards, what kind of card games they have, Warhammer stuff. If they start talking or tweeting in a color, a flavor, a charm that's got that cork spin charm on it, usually quicker than Vegeta on it, about, hey, well, we can't do that stuff. The demon function of the demon shit, it's going to come back around. But you might have to take out the High Priest as far as programmer limits on some of this stuff, getting in and do that. I don't do any computer programming. I can. I could learn as far as what type that is. Because typing in a computer is like typing in a saw. It's F11, F7, F9. Fill in a category. I'll show you the notes. As far as, not only there's a version of it we're going to pull off, but more than likely because you have any turnover whatsoever in any position for what it is, you're not training camping it correctly or gauging the right person where it could come into something like Indeed.com or something like that does the training rotation a little bit more precisely with regional differences, what you would want to do for one of those guys inside there to make the run. You don't want to overdo their landscaper's job, so you want to keep an eye on that, make sure it doesn't come up some Zanpakuto pinging some signals out there. You got to send one of the home team for Salty's crew with the ego bit inside of this. Why that whole thing that's involved in programming is a good way and useful and interesting way to kind of describe what problems are going down there. So, if that's going and you're like, yeah, Sharps and Salty is usually what I like to line them up with, a sexual harassment guy and a trainer for some kind of system. And you walk them, feed them through ADP, right? That's the Blue Book standards, even if you don't have a coach like that. This is pretty quick, and it's a good little one-tinger for a single-stage relay to design a hillbilly spinner. Give me a business concept. I got a little one here. You match something like that, and then you show some business that you want to walk into that, you're one of those. It gives you a big bump. Or at least it should. It should. But I'm not saying go full Goku. Give me a call. Let me check what's going on there. Give you a signal that you wouldn't have had any other way from a coach or listen to one of the people I tell to give the call to. We're out in Department B over there. People, cost, pie chart. It's not infinite. Goku here can't just pull it in unless you could tap into the taxes by a Penzroll snap theory on fractal banking's fractal banking snap theory, organic chemistry. Because you're not just calling it elements. The whole beaker is kind of point A to point B, and deciding what that timeline is useful before Broly pops up. For me as a stonemason being mad at some state trooper for being drunk at you, because you never know which way this variable is going to come at you from either the desk, right, because sitting behind drug and alcohol before getting my intake, having to go every 2 weeks or every week to get drug tested, that's, you learn inverted to that system. And cling, 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 tape in, make sure that either you're using the standard model matrix, the Imperium, to do that, work in the stone mill, use their variances before you, with respect to that system, go into that and say, okay, that's a great place, 11 realms or whatever you're doing, the 12 laws of power and JP's models on it, because trying to stay relevant at the time topology for the water cooler as well. That, if you're going to use some thesis, whatever way it's going to come at you, so that's my resume as far as keeping it real. Catch you on the phone.